Oh, PM. Let's go with 10 PM because that's when I go to bed. I don't know. 10 PM is your favorite time of day? Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 10 PM is. Let's use another slider to find out. It's not very accurate. It's completely opposite. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, not 10 o'clock in the evening. Inaccurate. You know, you can just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting the settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah. Let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is RAMMY2000 and today I'm going to be continuing my Let's Play on the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. I've actually made a list of all the endings I haven't done.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah. Okay. So I have got all the achievement, not all the achievements, all the endings on my other monitor right now, and I'm gonna slowly get through all of them in the next couple of episodes. So I'm gonna do all the ones without the bucket this episode. So there is a bunch of endings: the heaven ending, the elevator ending. I've already done the elevator ending. I need to get rid of that. Oh, that's the only two left, or is that before? Okay, I didn't actually write this down well. Oh, actually, I'll do the cold feet one. So in the last episode, or the episode before, I can't really remember. It was a while ago since I've played the game.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
To get the extra content, I jumped off the edge of the platform, and that was the powerful ending. So, but if I go onto the lift and go straight back off the lift, and then jump off, it's the cold feet ending. Or is it I go on the lift and then I jump off the lift?
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business,
I'll have to find out.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, so the first one is in
Stanley
here.
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it.
So this is the cold feet ending. Great. Okay.
Come on. I'm sure you'll survive the jump. Don't tell me you're scared. That's... Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
Okay. Well, that was one ending done.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so that's the cold feet ending done. Now the next one, I've done the elevator. I need to do the heaven ending, which the heaven ending...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
So just to give context, I went through all my old videos on the Stanley Parable, and I got all the endings. It got all the endings into a notepad, and I struck off all the ones that I did in my old series. Now I'm doing all the ones that I'm doing in the new series I haven't done yet. So basically, the heaven ending is you need to go to a PC, and you have to, there we go, put inputs in. Begin the game again. And then now we have to go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
And find
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
another input. There we go, there's 2. So we have to do that 5 times.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, I've just actually Googled it because I didn't no idea where it was. It's actually in the reception area of the boss's office.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yes. Now we go right here. There it is. And then the next one should be in the office again.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I...
There we go. And then the last one is right there. Okay, let's get the heaven ending then. Welcome, Stanley, to heaven. I'm clicking all of them. Is this it? I think this is it. So I'm going to start again. So that's 2 down. That's 2 endings down. Right. So the next ending
All of his co-workers were gone.
is...
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. So the next one I need to do is I need to go to the vent again.
When
So
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
in the last episode, I had to go into a vent and I had the bucket with me and it was like a bunch of narration tapes. I need to go...
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
So I need to go to that vent again, but without the bucket.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nope.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Right, let's go in here then.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
He was tapes all this
You
time.
didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Oh. And that was it. Okay. That was it. Cool.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one... Oh, actually, I need to restart, because the last one I need to do without the bucket is the coward ending.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh, and I died. Brilliant. Okay, well that was the coward ending. They weren't as good as the other ones, but... Hello?
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Okay. They might have something interesting to do. But anyway, now we've got all the endings with the bucket, and I've just looked at my monitor, and there's a lot of them. Okay, so I'm gonna have to...
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Right, door on the left. I think I'm now doing the freedom ending, which is the good ending. Like the proper ending to the story. I don't think I've done that yet.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Nope, instead I'm going to do the broom closet ending. This might take a minute, so I'm just going to let you...
Can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner?
Well, I never.
Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments.
Yeah, how dare
Expand
he?
on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Complete silence.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There.
Property
Now
by
it's
Stanley.
settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Cool. Am I still staying in here?
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
You can put another one on?
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Okay, I think that's it. So that's the bucket ending for the broom closet. Okay, let's go.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Do I go down first? No, I'll go up first. I'll do all the endings that allow me to go up, and then I'll go down so that I don't miss any. I'll do the elevator ending with the bucket, actually. What happens now if I use the bucket? I don't hear anything. So I don't think they've done anything with that, which is a shame. But we can actually go in here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
2,
Crushed
8,
by the weight of this
4,
revelation,
5.
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was
Yes.
the bucket guiding him?
Yes.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh yeah, there was also another ending I had to do. So this ending, you had to like go up and down the elevator multiple times.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
I think that's the other
Soothing him,
elevator though.
comforting him, reassuring
I
that
won't
in
do
this
that.
darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
If I turn around, I can go back up again.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Okay. Going back up again now. Now I want to go back down. I want to go back down. What the hell?
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number. Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Okay, so this is the elevator ending. Okay. I need to do that without the bucket.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Huh. Back up again.
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
Okay. Obviously the bucket isn't going to say anything. Now we're back up here again. To press the number 3 again.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator.
Okay.
He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be?
Do I have to go back up again? No. There's nothing.
Said Stanley. I know what to do.
Oh,
I
there is.
know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's
Whoa.
work.
Okay. This is the elevator
For months,
ending.
he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
Here we go.
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
I had a phone go off then. It was like a vibration on the phone. So
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
oh, we get to keep the stickers. Okay.
A good bucket, a
Okay.
strong bucket, a
I'm going
humble
to-
bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm either going to do one more ending or two more endings. We'll see what happens,
Still
really.
no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Right, so now instead of pressing all those buttons again, we're actually going to go down into the mind control facility. There we go.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
There's meant to be a glitch or something here as well. You're meant to be able to go over the edge.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now,
Okay.
what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit
Oh,
cold,
we've got a couch.
perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
And it's an ending. Okay. Thick.
All of his
Okay, it's
co-workers
been 30
were
minutes.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had... the embrace
Okay.
of an old friend. A
Now-
withered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Yeah.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Okay, so this is the true ending with the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
What's going on?
Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped?
Why is it?
Was
Yeah.
Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay, so the true ending. So the true ending doesn't mean the true ending because the facility doesn't let you leave in the end because you have the bucket with you. That's strange. Okay, well, I've done, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've done 6 endings, which is pretty good out of, I don't know how many, like 15 left. So, cool. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the RAMMY YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. RAMMY out. See you guys later.